Today we're going to be talking about offside. It's one of those subjects where it can be really confusing. It continues to be confusing. So in this video, I'm going to look to break down what is offside, what is the offside rule, what's not offside, and then a couple of the variables with it as well. So I'm going to start with the basics of offside. What is the basic fundamental principle of being offside? And that is, as shown in the diagram here, if you are advanced of the second to last defender, and that's a confusing statement, but that's how it's written in the laws. The second to last defender is including the goalkeeper. So if you're in advance to the second to last defender, when that ball is played, you are offside. So you can see here I've highlighted the offside zone. So if that player falls into that area, when that ball is kicked, that player is offside at its core. Now, what I mean by second to last defender is it has to be the second to last defender because the goalkeeper counts as an outfield player or counts as a player. So if the goalkeeper for some stupid reason was up here and this player was here, for example, this player was here, one of these players would count as the goalkeeper, as daft as that sounds. So the offside line would be for this player here because they're the second to last defender. But 99.9 or nearly 100% of the time, the second to last defender is just the last defender in a really basic term. So as you would see it in a football pitch, watching the game, the last defender that you can see will have an offside line, which I've drawn on the pitch there. If the attacking player is beyond that zone when the ball is played, then that player is offside. Okay, that's the fundamentals and the basics. You are not offside if when the ball is kicked, you are in your own half, and that's regardless of where the defending players are. So I've just drawn this out on the grid here. So you can see the attacking player here is in their own half. The defenders have pushed really far in advance. Maybe they're in a strong rest defence. Maybe they're being really, really aggressive here. You've seen Man City do it before where they get into a really strong rest defence position. The ball's won in transition here, and that ball is played that way. That player is not offside, even though they're in advance of the last defender, as you would see it in a literal sense. Because they're in their own half, they are not offside. You are also not offside from a corner kick. So at its core, a corner kick is played backwards. So if you play the ball backwards, you can't be offside, right? Because the ball has to be played forwards. So the ball is being played backwards on a corner kick. You cannot be offside when that ball is kicked. Obviously, when we get into second phase of play, when the next touch happens, you can be offside from that point. But the corner, when the corner is taken, you cannot be offside. So in essence, we could have our players pushed out here. This player is beyond the last defender, but they can't be offside because the ball is being kicked backwards. You're also not offside from a throw-in. So again, you'll see this happen sometimes in a game where the blue team here will win a throw-in. This player's movement is this way. If that ball is thrown there now, they are not offside. You cannot be offside from a throw-in. So if you didn't know that, that's a really good tactical point to let your players know. Because if you're quick and you're sharp as an attacker, you can really exploit that and get into some space really, really quickly. So just to be clear, you cannot be offside in your own half, from a corner kick, or from a throw-in. So to summarise, the key moment is when the ball is played. Okay, when the ball leaves this player's foot. So when they kick the ball, the position of this player then comes into play. So when the ball is played, if you're here, you're onside. When the ball is played, if you're here, you're offside because you're beyond the last defender. And the key timing is when that ball is kicked, when the action takes. Okay, so just to summarise, here would be onside, here would be offside. Okay, when the ball is kicked. Okay, we're going to look at a couple of variables now. The first one is active involvement. So we're going to look at a scenario here where the ball is being crossed from the right wing. The ball travels, and this player in an offside position jumps for the ball and attempts to header it, but misses it. Doesn't touch the ball at all. This player here is in an onside position when the ball is kicked, and they make a run and they come in and they score. That will be flagged for offside because the initial player had active involvement and distracted the other players, or could be deemed to have changed the motion of other players or changed the course of the action for other players because they were involved actively and they were in an offside position when they did so. Okay, so that is active involvement. There's lots of scenarios that you can play there, but ultimately, if someone's in an offside position, they try and impact the ball, miss it, and then someone comes in behind them in an onside position and scores, that's going to be flagged for offside. The next bit we're going to look at is second phase. So a really easy example to look at for second phase is if somebody takes a shot here from around 25 yards, our striker's in an offside position. First phase would be the strike on goal. If that goes in, it's still a goal, okay? Because this player here is not interfering with play. If that ball goes in, it's a goal, even though they're stood in an offside position. If that ball comes, the goalkeeper saves it, parries it out, and now they come in and shoot and score, that's offside because it's a second phase and there was offside in the first phase, okay? So that would be a classic example of those being offside in the second phase. Okay, so that's the offside rule. Hopefully that helped. But just at its absolute fundamentals, if you're in advance of the second to last defender, which is the back line of an outfield player, if you're in advance of that, when the ball is played, you're offside. There's lots of other variables we looked at. You can't be offside from a corner. You can't be offside from a goal kick. You can't be offside from a throw-in. And you can't be offside in your own half as well. We've looked at the key moment of when the ball is played, and we've looked at active involvement in second phase as well. So hopefully that clears things up for you. Let me know what you think in the comments below.